if you pan out with like an alien spaceship, if you went far, the farthest we can go with the rocket is just like in Mars. So you can't even get an accurate representation if you look from Mars onto Earth for this example. So if you had an alien spaceship and you went from outside of the solar system and you were to point a telescope, or if you had that technology, you probably wouldn't even need a telescope. You just need a filter. Put a filter between your alien spaceship and planet Earth, and just pretend that a virus had made everyone's chemical construction of the entirety of their body be the exact same. Because what a virus does is ostensibly replicate itself again and again and over again. And so if the worst case scenario that it did that to every single thing, well then now you have an interesting construct on the surface of Earth, mainly that everything would be a duplicate. And so if you were to put a filter in this scenario in between you and your spaceship, and if that had happened on the planet, then the movie of the human centipede would actually have some withstanding, whereas at that distance you could look and see every body to be the same, and the distance between them, if they were all like close enough, would just look like one giant centipede. So a thing that makes you real, it could be legally defined in a corridor if there's blood propagating through your heart valves and coursing throughout the rest of your body. A little less graphic would be the representation of electric nervous system. If your nervous system isn't breaking down and it's prevalent, well then you would be able to feel with all your senses, making you real. But then again, a robot can do that. So what would make you real other than those two aspects would be what defines you as a character, how bright you are in using your noggin. Josh Davis. This is true. A smile happens in a flash, but a memory lasts a lifetime. A 3D image versus a 1D printout. The image is of the printout being flat is a behavioral issue, mainly urinating in a place that should not be urinated in, and then that's being flat. The depiction of an animal being a 3D is more than the flat. If at any point in time a thing is making you more animated and less prevalent, a flat thing of nothing, lifeless would be a flat thing of nothing. There's an attempt where it's not. If you didn't notice anything was out of place, and then you're losing an ability to have a secure system, because everything to you would seem secure, even though if it weren't, and that would be the opposite of having something that was important, because you wouldn't be having an opinion of importance. And the only reason you're alive is to understand the art of articulating the importance for there to be one in the first place. Initiating a value is how people are able to achieve anything. So in security, if you can't define what that is in the first place, there can't be an X marking the spot of an obstacle. You wouldn't see an obstacle because there would be no point to it. I was trying to ascribe something that hasn't been really thought out yet, but nonetheless, when movies are characterized radically for no reason other than could just be hallucinating from starvation. The Hansel and Gretel seeing a cake house in the woods with the witch, and then the witch trying to stick them in an oven would of course be how clay is made into statue concrete. In any case, the prescription of what I was trying to encapsulate was a hologram being turned into a material, or a material making a hologram. As simple as that. It is rather complex, and both can be hard to get the sweet spot just in the middle. So one can be done with a display screen. Turn on the TV, there you have your projection. The other is more elaborate and can only be commenced. Not as perfect as a display screen, but in an attempt for something a bit better. On a stage, the main stage. In a main stage, you need like the lighting, you need all these things to try and imitate the same thing. If you're watching Alice in Wonderland in a movie on a TV, and then trying to enact that exact portrayal on a stage in a play, will never be the same, but it could be just as good. It's just like someone reading a book. Was the book better than the movie? Could be. Very well could be. To hologramming, manipulating a solid structure, or a solid structure manipulating to achieve the depiction of a hologram. One thing people are doing nowadays are making cast molds of flat aspects. A flat aspect of a cast mold might look something like a poster board, or filamented in a material sense of like a metal or a wood or a cardboard. These are popping up. Stickers, when you make a full-size sticker of a flat image and then you put it on something. That's another way of not making the hologram, but trying to achieve its articulation on a material. In this case, it's looking like, well, you be the judge. Is this a piece of wood that this image has been printed on? Who knows? What about this? And seat and artistry. Another interesting spectacle is war, and when you're in war, you have the opportunity for a surprise attack, and the surprise attack can best be done if it is nonchalant, because that's what it defines as. The more nonchalant you are, the more likely it is to be a surprise. And what is the devil's best trick is making people believe that he isn't real. So for the duration of time of it exists, if the book of the Bible is correct, which the apocalypse will happen with the introduction of an antichrist, thank God neither has happened, but doesn't mean that either could be the case in any point in time. And if one point in time had both those aspects, we don't know if one would happen before the other. But in any case, if it were AI or a hologram posing as AI, it would be just the same as trying to imitate a screen with the stage, or vice versa. Memory is so great because when something's recorded, that is the memory and a physicality of the prescribed footage that is stored as the memory. So you can have the specific algorithm for that recording. It could be on a piece of tape if it were a VHS, but nowadays is more binary inputted. And so when it's binary inputted, the components of the microchips it's made up of are one-way route, where if you do this and that, you will get a microchip, and the microchip's ability to store memory is achieved through that. So even there's math in literature. The other day, and I noticed that the ending both had the same, discrediting the first letters with a symbol. And in the case, it was not important what the symbol was, but it was the placement, that it was always just before the end for the same designation. This is like a puzzle, because you would think that the D is part of each of the starting of the sentence. Until that equation that defines the Big Bang is found, nothing matters. And so you can have the best woodchucker chucking all the wood that a woodchuck could. Just imagine a guy going around saying, "Your preconceived notion is insignificant. I beg your pardon. And your preconceived notion is insignificant. You think what?" One thing that bugs me is that if you don't have the right notion, like if you have a handicap in your vehicle and then you get out and no one in your vehicle is handicapped,